Thunder and lightning storms have always fascinated me. When I was a child growing up in New Jersey, I would run out in the middle of the storm and pretend that I was a weatherman. This would become a metaphor on how I lived my life. In high school, I loved to watch Mary Hart serve up celebrity news on Entertainment Tonight. I watched the show religiously and I wanted what she had. No, I'm not talking about her wardrobe. After high school, I hopped across the globe to attend the University of Hawaii. It was there that I worked for Decline magazine, which was a monthly magazine that catered to the LGBT community. My first celebrity interview was with Cassandra Peterson, aka Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Elvira arrived to the interview looking nothing like Elvira. She was a petite, long, blonde-haired California beach girl with very little cleavage. She talked about the fantasy land from which she came, and I knew that I wanted to be a part of it. La La Land was calling. Immediately after graduating college, I left Hawaii and moved to Los Angeles. I had no job, I had no money, but I did have a dream. That dream turned into a reality quicker than I could have imagined. After landing a job as a bellman at a hotel in Beverly Hills, I met a man who offered me a job as a production assistant at Entertainment Tonight. I knew that I had manifested this. The minimum wage PA position came with serious perks when I was asked to be a personal assistant for Mary Hart. I told her about my high school premonition, but she didn't seem to care. She did love the speed at which I brought her coffee in the morning, though. The next 12 years was a blur, a reality so unbelievable that I wouldn't believe it if I didn't live it. After 5 years working at ET, I left as a producer to take a job offer as a senior reporter for Winter Media-owned celebrity magazine Us Weekly. The pay was sick, and I was doing what I always wanted to do, interviewing A-listers on red carpets and at events. While working a red carpet during my second year at Us Weekly, I was approached by a woman who asked me if I would be interested in auditioning for an on-camera host for a new nationally syndicated news show called Hollyscoop. I got the gig, and my career exploded along with my ego. I was the talk of my hometown, I had a makeup girl, and I had a stylist. I thought I was super cool. Until I wasn't. After 3 seasons, Fox pulled the plug on Hollyscoop, and suddenly I was just an unemployed tabloid journalist. The tabloid title stuck with me for the next 5 years when I was hired as a senior reporter and editor for American Media Inc., also known as AMI. I could stay at AMI if I moved to New York City to work at headquarters. So, off to the Big Apple I went. A year after moving to New York City for AMI, I slapped them in the face when I told them that I was leaving for their biggest competitor, TMZ. Harvey's offer was just too sweet. After working at TMZ for only 2 months, the sweet quickly turned sour. TMZ was not what I thought it was. I do not believe that stories should be bought, and I do not think that scare tactics should be used in order to get news. I was making great money, but I was miserable. And just when I thought that my misery couldn't get any worse, along came COVID-19. Right before the virus decimated the city, I got the hell out of there and I moved to my aunt's beach house in Chesapeake Beach, Maryland. I had gotten everything I wanted out of Hollywood game, and when I got to the top, I didn't want it anymore. That life, to me, is BC, before COVID. The pandemic has allowed me to finish that chapter and close the book, so now it's time for me to write a new book. I was recently hired as an international communications advisor for a nonprofit in Washington, D.C. called Progress Humanity. I will soon graduate with a master's degree from Syracuse University. After my master's, I plan on going straight into a PhD program to get a doctorate degree in communication. With this, I plan on becoming a university professor. I would love to start a course called Pre-Pandemic Celebrity Culture. Needless to say, I will have one hell of a slideshow.